We're turning it into a very lad-oriented podcast. Oi, oi!
Oi oi. When did oi oi become the lad
Uh,
call?
See, the thing is, I have never lived in the UK, and so I heard that from comedians. It's pretty old because the guys I listened to, the British comedians I would have listened to, would have been like when I heard them, it was already quite old. So I'm thinking it would have been like late '90s, early 2000s.
You're not walking around the UK hearing that sound from my experience, but
No, but it seems
when I
like
hear
when
it,
yeah, it seems like when people talk about it, they make
yeah,
that noise.
it's a bit mythical. Mythical lad sound.
It's very possible that no one's ever gone oi oi in their life, and it's just something that's stuck.
Like one of those Mandela effects. We all imagine them saying it, but they never actually did.
Do you have any of those in your life? The most famous one for me is the Berenstain Bears, and I
Hmm.
actually now do not know how to spell it because I know it's spelled one way, but mythically is a different one.
Well, that's one I know about because it's from the internet, but I've never grown up with those books in the UK. I can't think of a single. I can't think of a single one.
Because it is the
Um,
Mandela effect.
yeah,
And so, what is it about Nelson Mandela? I actually forget
I
what.
think the actual fact was that Nelson Mandela died in prison, which he did not.
Oh, okay. I knew he didn't.
I think that was the effect that people believe is true, but
I might be immune to that because I was still alive when he got out of prison, so it was really big news.
oh, okay.
So I bet it's post that event. People just think he died in prison.
Mm, yeah, I didn't. I had no exposure to the events of that, so I don't know. I don't. I can't really appreciate
Well, that's
the
what I mean. Like, if
Mandela
you were
effect. And
born or like at an age where news wasn't getting to you, not knowing that makes perfect sense. I now
it
at
doesn't
work,
make perfect.
I deal with people who are way younger than me, and some of my coworkers who are older as well. They can't
Mm.
accept that these young people don't know some stuff that they know. And then I'm in my head, I'm like, yeah, but you're talking about a movie that was like 20 years before they were born. Why would they know that?
No, yeah, that's a good point.
And so I always
There are
do.
movie staples, but mm,
Yeah, but even so, like when in your life, like how far back do you go before you were born to assume something is still relevant? It just like I'm like if it's a couple years before you were born, I'm like there's actually no reason for someone to go back to that. Like it might get pushed into their culture because like in America they watch a movie every year at Christmas. It's a Wonderful Life. So there is a
oh yeah.
chance people have seen that, but now with TV being falling to the wayside, I actually assume that they're not even going to watch that anymore.
I don't think anyone below my generation. I wouldn't assume that they've watched anything because I'm more likely to assume that they've seen a meme on TikTok than
Yes.
a movie that's well known.
Yeah. So what happened in the last group? We did intake, and I'm 53, and the youngest guy was 22. And he and I
Mm.
shared more in common because we both were clearly into the internet, like deep into it. So I made
Mm.
jokes. He's the only one who got some of my jokes. And I thought that was really
It's
weird
nice for
because,
you.
yeah, well, because the guys who were like 25 or 30, they weren't getting it because they weren't in the same little area of the internet.
The internet moves fast as well, so those 3 years make a big difference.
Well, I'm using the internet now to try to maintain a certain level of relevance so that I can
Mm.
communicate with people. So, like, I know what they're
Mm.
talking about and stuff. Like, when the first time I did it on purpose is when Twilight got really popular. And I was like, well, I know this isn't for me, but I'm going to watch it so that when people talk about Twilight, I know what they're talking about.
Mm.
Like 10 minutes in, I'm like, I am not the target demographic for this film. But I could at least admit,
Are
like,
they really?
nah, yeah, I don't think they were going for, again, I said that time I was probably in my 40s. They're not going for 40-year-old men who can mentally put themselves in the mindset of a high school girl who's in love with a vampire. I guess I could have maybe felt like the
Well,
vampire, the old
well, I
creepy,
don't know. I think.
the 100-year-old dude creeping
Mm,
on a high school girl. That makes more sense.
well, maybe they were intending for you, Peter, to kind of relate to the dad, who's
Oh,
kind of worried about
that
growing
guy,
up
that
with.
guy's he's useless though. He's like the son, the Edward is clearly something's going on, and the dad didn't check it out, and he's against the relationship. Nah, man, he was
Mm.
useless.
He's a sheriff as well, right?
Yeah, share cops are useless.
Oh yeah. Mm.
We just turned into an anti-cop.
Well, we got to talk about the topics that matter, don't we?
Mm. So Oh, should I do an intro? I should do an intro. This is the problem: is we start talking and start having a good time, and then I don't actually do an intro.
Enter the mind of the academy. Chop my big chest, where the best is a philosophy. Drinking at lunch brings verbal skills like a sucker punch. Welcome to CMcB. Yeah, yeah, CMcB. Yeah, yeah, CMcB. Yeah, yeah, CMcB. Yeah, yeah,
Are you recording right now?
I start recording basically as soon as we start talking, because then I have a choice. I could play like a little pre-bit and then the intro song and then the podcast, or I could take the stuff we talk about and then like move it to the middle or the back. I can do some editing.
Okay. Oh, we should one day. We should stage a big fight. We're gonna fall out. We're gonna get personal and call each other names, and then clip that as the intro, and then just never get to that point at all in the podcast.
That's a really good idea. I actually think fake beef is very funny. Like, I think if I was famous, I would say shit about other famous people who I've never met. Be like, yeah, that guy borrowed $50 off me and never paid it back. He's a piece of shit. And everyone be like, oh my God, why and they go to this other like famous singer or something and go like, why did you not pay back the $50? It's just $50. He'd be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm like, that's what he always says. I don't know what you're talking about.
I can see some people taking that really well, and then other people getting a cease and desist on you or something.
There was
the ones who will get it and they'll go along with it.
There was a British actor. I saw a clip of him the other day. I can't remember his name, but he basically didn't like doing interviews, so he just lied. Like, he just said whatever he wanted to say in the moment, and he's just like, well, because what matters? And he played the role of a gay dude in a movie, and then the interviewer's like, well, was it difficult for you to get into the role? He's like, no, because I'm gay. And he's not. I was just like, oh, that's actually really cool. So
Who
like,
was that then?
Oh, I don't know. He was pretty old, and the clip I saw was actually pretty old as well. But he was just saying, like, I hate interviews. They ask the dumbest questions, so I just say whatever pops into my head. And you can tell he's like, because it doesn't matter. This is a clip of Michael Gambon's interview from Top Gear.
To be honest, you are actually quite famous, aren't you, for making stuff up in interviews?
Stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have to, because I hate interviews.
Oh, God, sorry.
Well, I do. I mean, it's awful. I just tell lies.
So if someone... Well, I know you did once tell an interviewer you were a member of the Royal Ballet.
Yeah, I said I was a ballet dancer at the Royal Ballet. What are you laughing at? He said, why did you give it up? I said, I fell off the stage at the Opera House and went through a kettle drum.
Then you told someone else you were gay.
Yes, I said I was gay. The man said, you played Oscar. I played Oscar Wilde. He said, did you find that difficult? I said, no, I didn't. He said, what about the homosexuality? So that annoyed me, you know, and I said, well, I found that very easy because I used to be a homosexual. And he was so thick, you know, I said, but I was forced to give it up. And then he asked the question, he said, oh, why was that? Why was that? I said, because it made my eyes water. And I thought he'd laugh, but he didn't. He wrote it down. Well, that's what...
And if the purpose of the interview is to be entertaining, then that's entertaining.
Because is the point of the interview to get information or to be entertaining when you're talking to someone who essentially is not important? They're just famous. Like, they're in a movie promoting their movie. Does anyone give a shit if what you're saying is accurate? I think entertainment would actually take a priority.
I'd say as long as you're not lying explicitly about the movie, as long as the interview drives people to watch that movie, then everything you say is fine.
All right, so we'll do it next time. We'll do an interview with you, and you can just make up all your answers. You'll be pretending to promote a movie, and we'll promote the new Spider-Man movie that you're in. Absolutely,
which I definitely am in. Yeah,
you would be. I think you'd be a good Spider-Man.
Well, I couldn't perform any stunts.
Well, they have stuntmen. And
I wouldn't look good in a bodysuit unless it was like a
you say that
added muscle bodysuit.
They can do that, but I think essentially, if you're going to be a Spider-Man. You get like a 3-month run up to it where they would do some training. So you would get to your workout and you would look good. Like we can always say there's always a base looking good. And then they can put the muscle suit on top of that base. I think you'd be a great Spider-Man. I'm putting you up for the next Spider-Man.
Oh, thank you very much. Of all the superheroes, I do like Spider-Man. I'm not really into superheroes, but I love Spider-Man and I love X-Men.
I have never gotten into X-Men. I think I'd never read the comics when I was a kid, and then when I grew up, I started watching the movies, and the movies were not very good. And there was one, I think it was the third one, where there's like these big robots that kill all the X-Men, and I thought that was the best part.
Why didn't you like the movies?
They weren't very good. I think when they have a massive ensemble cast, you don't form a connection to any one of them. So if you didn't already know those characters, you did not give a shit about those characters.
Well, I gave a shit about the characters, Peter.
But you already knew them, right? You just said you were already into the X-Men. So that's my point. Like,
no, I wasn't already into that. I'm just no. I said I was into them like from the movies.
Oh, from the movies. Well, which X-Men did you like?
Books. Oh, I loved Mystique and Storm.
I do like them as well. Yeah. I mean, but that's just because I would like to do them.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
I mean, I think
it was
that,
really fun.
Yeah. My base for liking them is pretty fundamental. I don't know.
I'd say, yeah, one track. Speaking of Mystique, if she'd probably be the best partner to have, because by dating Mystique, you're dating everyone. Everyone that she can see she's transforming to. Which actually, as I'm saying it, is very problematic, because that's taking the image of somebody without letting them know, which I do not endorse.
Well, in the bedroom, it would just count as like dressing up or cosplay or something. But I wonder if Mystique would have an issue with it, where you're like, hey, could you be this tonight? So it's, do you like Mystique, or do you like that you can have the variety? I think there would always be that doubt.
Absolutely.
Because the scene, she's in the bed and she's changing into sexy ladies for some guy. I remember this scene really well. And he's like, no, I want you. And then she changes into her like blue form, and he's like, perfect. And I was like, oh, there you go. That's the right guy.
That's wholesome, yeah.
I did like that part. He was like, I don't want the fake stuff you're putting out there for the world. I want you. I was like, oh, nice. I don't remember if he was a good guy or not.
Well, he was nice and sensitive to her needs and her feelings in that moment anyway.
So who was your favorite X-person? Because you named two, but that's not, if you had to pick one.
I really like, what's his face? I think he's called Angel.
Ah, yes.
He's the one with the
looks like
huge wings.
Yeah.
It's not a skill I would like if I was one of the mutants. I wouldn't choose that one over anything else. But I just like his story, how you get flashbacks of it. I don't remember him being a major character in the movies that I watched, but you had flashbacks of him trying to clip his own wings in the toilet as a kid, because he was being bullied for it or something like that. And then his dad thought he was a monster, but then he ends up saving his dad using the power that his dad always kind of denied. And so, yeah, that was just a nice little story arc. Very predictable story arc.
It was. I think it was in one of the movies where the dad is like in a company that's creating a drug that will repress the mutant gene, and then he wants to give it to his son, and his son decides he doesn't want it. But do you think the son has hollow bones? Because birds have hollow bones to keep them light enough to fly, so he must have hollow bones, which would make him very fragile.
Well, scientifically speaking, yeah, he must do. But yeah, he can't really fight in that way, especially when there's these superpower strength mutants. They'll obliterate him, wouldn't they?
Yeah, no, I always wondered like how much thought they put into it, because he looks awesome. Big, hunky dude, blonde hair, big wings. I understand. But did anyone take any time to go like, but, for him to be able to fly, he has to be essentially very fragile or super fast. I guess if he could be super fast, no one could hit him, but you hit him once, he'd probably die.
No, that's right. It would be like punching a pigeon.
And if you've ever punched a pigeon, it's super fun.
Let us know in the comments if you have punched a pigeon. And
let us know. Send an email to chunkmcbeefchest@gmail.com or speakpipe.com/chunkmcbeefchest if you've punched a pigeon.
Or if there are any pigeons listening, have you been punched by a human?
CMcB.
Have you heard of cuteness aggression?
No.
Oh, cuteness aggression is I think mostly harmless effect we have in our brains. If we see something cute, it brings out some kind of very light aggressive impulse. That's why we squeeze cute things, or we say, "Oh, do you know what I mean?" You see something cute, maybe you clench your fist a little bit, or you squeeze your dog a little, maybe a little tighter than the dog would like you to. That's if you've ever experienced that, it's called cute aggression.
I probably shouldn't put this out in the world, but yeah, like if cute girls, I like to like push them around.
Wow.
There's tiny Japanese girls, like they're adults, but they're like tiny. And I like to like shove them a little bit.
Well, you should stop that.
Yeah, no, it's an instinct that I absolutely put effort into repressing. But if like I have a friend who's tiny, yeah, like picking them up and throwing them around and stuff is, yeah, it's really satisfying. That is oh God, that's gross now that I say it.
Well, let us know in the comments if Peter's ever pushed you around. How do you feel?
It's not going to be comments. It's going to be a class action lawsuit. Oh, we found out there's 50 of us. We can sue him and get a ton of money, except he's poor, so we're not getting any money. We're going to take away his 30,000 yen microphone that makes his voice sound better.
30,000, crikey.
Well,
that's why he's so
okay, so this microphone, it's the Shure microphone, and it's because podcasting and recording stuff and making stuff for the internet, it's a hobby. So this is one of the few things I put money into, because I'd bought a really cheap one to see if I was going to do it, and then I bought a better one, and then I was like, I might as well buy a good one and just leave it at that. But when I got it and plugged it into the computer, it had settings, and it had make your voice like radio friendly, and then deeper and softer, and then a little higher pitch for more excitement. Like the microphone will focus in on tones in your voice.
Wow.
So I think I've got it on sexy sultry.
I see.
So that's why it sounds different and or better than when we were talking on the phone.
You definitely have it on sexy sultry.
Yeah, where it's like on the phone it's really high pitched and squeaky and awful.
You must have set mine to, I don't know, little girl at school voice, because that's what I sound like. Okay. Have you ever actively tried to change your voice, kind of for social reasons or whatnot?
I used to laugh a lot, and I had sort of a high pitched laugh, and it still happens. But I was in high school. I was at my girlfriend's play and watching it. It was a funny thing. It was like a pantomime almost, and so I laughed a lot. And they had recorded the play, and then all the people in the play started making fun of my laugh, and I basically stopped laughing after that.
Oh no.
Isn't that tragic?
That's mean.
Yeah, it's tragic.
That's tragic.
So my girlfriend thought this was very funny. Haha, all my friends were making fun of your laugh. And then I don't know I just stopped laughing after that. So I laugh a lot less than I did when I was young.
Oh, that's awful.
It's okay.
Laughing is involuntary. No one chooses it. I would never make fun of someone's laugh, because then what they're going to do, they're going to stop laughing, like you've just said.
Yep.
Oh.
It's all right. I don't mind. I only cry a little bit at night.
Ooh, get over it.
Yep. No, I already have. Okay, so
Nice.
last time you told me a story about the leaf, and I have been obsessed with this story since we spoke. Imagine this. Okay, so it's you go to the movies and you sit down and it's black screen and it fades in, and you have a gentle English village, sort of maybe a crane shot sweeping over the village to show that it's sort of quiet and calm. And then there's sort of a gust of wind and maybe a few leaves. It's because it's not a dirty town, so there's a few leaves rustle through. And then the camera pans down to a road, and there's a boy in his school uniform, short pants, and he's not skipping, but he's walking with a jaunt. And then as he walks down the street, he's maybe even humming a little English song, like English Rose or something. And then he gets to the corner, and then he turns, and suddenly the giant black habit of a nun is looming over him. Now, I haven't decided if it should be like a beautiful porcelain face to contrast the habit, or like an old wizened face to make it seem more witch-like. So that would be something we need to like maybe test with audiences.
Yeah.
She looks down at the little boy and reaches out her hand, and he puts, just instinctively, because she's a nun, puts his hand in hers, and she takes the leaf out, she puts it in, and then she pushes it, and he sort of feels that there's that hard bit in the middle. So he touches it with his thumb, and it pierces his thumb, and a little drop of blood goes into it. And then the blood gets sucked into the leaf, which turns sort of a different color. And then I'm trying to get it to decide, either it turns to ash and blows away, or it absorbs into his hand, and then the nun disappears.
Ooh,
I know.
okay.
Like, I've taken the story you told me, and I've started building a mythology around it.
You have.
I also
wanna see
worked
the
in
rest of the movie.
I also worked in a joke, if you want. So she puts it in his hand and she
Okay.
goes, "You're gay now." And that's how young boys become gay men. But
It is a choice, but it's not our choice. It's the nun's choice.
it's the nun's choice. I didn't want to make that joke at first, but I was like, oh, that'd actually be funny if the curse was actually just, you're now a gay boy. But every aspect of that story is the beginning of a horror movie to me. And like you told it was
Yeah.
almost innocent.
Well, that's because I was experiencing it. I didn't think anything of it. But as an outsider, when you kind of not this instance where it's all dramatic, but in the last conversation, you did say how weird it was, and I kind of I think you're right. It
You
is
see
kind
it now
of
though,
weird.
yeah?
I do.
And then if we put like, it was all sort of gentle, harmonious music, little, not even upbeat, but just, gentle and pipes and stuff for the English countryside. And then when the nun puts the leaf in your hand, it gets into like trilling violins, like, yeah.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. That, then it's
Look,
a horror movie from that point on.
you said she kind of whispered, "You're gay now." However, the audience, having previously seen the jauntily way I was walking, thinking, "Yeah, we know." Especially if I am skipping.
Well, it was just one of those things where I was like, there's a joke in there. I don't know if it's okay for me to make or not. So I don't know if I should. But it was just the idea of the voice. It was just the really gentle, really quiet, "You're gay now," would just be really, really funny. But then,
I like that a lot.
it is the point. The only decision left to be made is, does the boy become the horror, or is it like a curse and all the horror things happen to the boy? So that would be the next part. Because then events have to start occurring in more increasing, seriousness.
Exactly, yes. And also, that would also answer your question of either being absorbed into the skin or being blown away as ash. Because if it was happening from within me, then I should absorb it.
Yes.
If it was happening to me, it should be the ash
The ash, yeah, it goes
situation.
out into the air and the atmosphere around you. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's right. That's pretty good.
that's great. Crikey. Actually, I had an idea to talk about that
Yes.
this kind of brings into, because you've kind of reshaped and reframed my memory of this story now. And actually, I think now that you say it, that's when I did become gay. Yeah, that was the exact point. But
I would love if because I only have a few gay friends, because you can only have so many friends in Japan. But like,
I thought you were going to say you can only, so, deal with so much
oh,
gay
so much
people.
gay stuff. Okay, so
Yeah.
I have one of my friends who's gay. We spend a lot of time online together, so he's sending memes. He has so harshly altered my algorithm that every company that collects that information thinks I'm gay now. Because he's
Lol.
always
You
sending me
might be.
like buff dudes flexing their butt in a bikini in the camera.
Yeah.
He's sending me like, and I like watching it. I'm just not into it for the same reasons. I'm always just like, oh, that's fascinating as an outsider. But companies must think I'm closeted.
They must do, yeah. Maybe. Hmm.
Anyway, sorry.
Do the companies think you're a top or a bottom? That's what I want to know.
Oh, you've opened a door you maybe shouldn't have opened. So I have this as an outsider. Is it acceptable for me in a conversation to ask if you're a top or bottom when I'm not trying to participate? So just as a query of interest, because I'm interested in you. So I don't want it to sound malicious. But like, let's say you and I are just talking and I find out you're gay and I'm not gay and I just go, "Are you a top or a bottom?" Is that rude or not?
I'd say if we don't know each other so much or haven't had a rapport established, it does get my back up. Because because I've been asked that before by, I was once introduced to the friend of a very good friend of mine. So the very good friend, he can say whatever he wants, so ask whatever I'm fine. But his friends, I think especially in England, I'm very easily clockable as gay. But so they kind of picked up on that, and then they asked, kind of sheepishly, "Are you a top or a bottom?" and that just got my back up straight away because I didn't know more than one thing about each of them, and
Yeah, that's
vice
not.
versa. That's what they want to know. So that I thought I just kind of replied with a bit of a joke because I didn't want to make the situation awkward. Because, like I said, I've got my good friend that was there, but I thought that's you don't need to know because we're not gonna
We're not going to do it.
and
That's right. So
yeah,
it
yeah.
because in my head it's like it's clearly none of my business. But
Hmm.
should we have a conversation later? Maybe that would be valuable information. So I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not okay. But let's say we become friends later, it might be worth
Yeah.
knowing. Because I could
When
be
you
your
say worth knowing.
well, I could be your wingman, right? And it's like I know like so
Oh.
if you and I were hanging out, we live in different cities, so we
Mhm.
don't get to hang out. But let's say we're hanging out, and
Mhm.
okay, I don't know if we're where we are, but there's a guy, and he's kind of. I would need to know what you're into to help you with that situation.
Well, in that situation, I can see your logic. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that actually answers my question, which if I'd really thought about it, I could have figured out. Was like you have to have more rapport and more of a relationship before that comes up.
That's important.
I think that's pretty fair. Because you would never go to a straight person and go like, "Do you like your penis?" or something. Because
Yeah.
I can't. There's no
Yeah,
equivalency question to a hetero couple.
no, I know what you mean. Just from the what you're doing with them and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's like if a complete stranger, like the situation I said, if in that situation, I'm also thinking, for a start, they've asked me and they don't know anything about me, but also what's the intention behind the question? Because there are certain perceptions that somebody who just maybe if you don't know so many gay people, there are certain perceptions and stereotypes that you'd rely on, given you knew if they were a top or a bottom. So typically, if a guy said, "Oh, he's a bottom," he's probably a bit girly, a bit femme. That's a stereotype, and it's not always true. Or they might think, "Oh, he's a top, he's a bit of a fuckboy," or whatever. I don't know. The stereotypes that somebody might think if they're not in that world. I don't want to assign any stereotypes to me based on the answer I give.
No, I
I'm
think that's
also
fair.
thinking about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But having a rapport and a laugh with somebody, that kind of really alleviates this tension around the question. So I've been asked many times by people I've been fine to answer.
Because when I had a son, when my wife was pregnant, and I remember talking to a group, and there was this really like party dude, and he clearly was not comfortable with his sexuality yet. Really, he was very like heteronormative, and he was like, "Whoa, what if your son's gay?" And because I think I had made a joke earlier, it was like, he's going to be good looking and tall and have all the attributes. He's going to be drowning in pussy. I probably made a joke like that. And then the guy's like, "Oh, what if he's gay?" And he was trying to make it. I think he was testing the waters to see if we shared the same feeling, like, "Oh, that's a scary world and we don't want a part of it." And I just said, "Oh, well, then he'd be just like slobbering cock," and because he's still going to have all the positive attributes that make him attractive to other people, and I want him to be happy.
Yeah.
So if he's straight or gay, I do not care. I just want him to get as much as he can, which he's really disappointed me with, if I'm being honest. He just hasn't gotten any.
Lol.
Like, it's interesting. He's all the people are like straight or gay is the issue. I'm like, no, he's not getting any. So the disappointment here is strong, because when I was his age, that's all I wanted to do was try to get as much as I could.
Right.
And I'm like, he hasn't gotten my hormones or my drive or something. He's missing something that I had. And it's the reason that Japan's population is dropping.
Well, not if he was gay. That wouldn't affect it, would it?
Yeah, but at least he'd be active.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, your poor son.
It's funny because the pressure that different parents put on their kids, and I'm like, why aren't you getting any?
I think this is a more common pressure than we assume. I think a lot of dads, even if they're kind of maybe outwardly showing a more conservative reaction, maybe inside they're thinking, "Get it, yes."
Yeah, I think that's pretty
Do
true.
what I never could, or whatever.
Yeah. Because when he graduated high school and they're all taking pictures together, there was like a line of little high school girls who wanted to take their picture with him before he left. And I was like, I would have exploited that situation so hard. But I think that might be why I wasn't that successful, because I would have come across as relatively desperate, where because he doesn't seem to be particularly interested in anyone, that's attractive.
Aloofness is very attractive. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I'd known that
An air
back
of
then.
mystery.
Yeah. He does have that because he's just empty. This is why beautiful dumb people are so attractive, is because you think there's something in there when there isn't. Well, that's the mystery. It's like, ooh, what's he feeling? And then if you actually went into his head, it'd be like an echo chamber of like blah 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 blah. Like if you solve the mystery, it'd be the most disappointing moment of your life.
There is something endearing about, maybe, how do I word it? Maybe like a visual cue of or a tangible cue of somebody's maybe lack of knowledge. There is something endearing about that. That's why pigeons are so stupid. Because I think they've evolved to become less intelligent to garner some kind of pity or attention from the humans that now feed them and continue their survival.
Well, because I read that baby animals, they have like big eyes and they're super cute. And that's so that in certain situations, hopefully, there's a chance that a predator will not eat them. It might take them under their wing. Because they've had, when a lion chases away or kills the leader of a pride, they tend to kill all the babies. But evolutionarily speaking, that's what you want to have happen because you only want your seed to be passed on. But if they're cute enough, you might take pity on them, and then that will help that line survive a little bit. And so that was one of the reasons baby animals are so cute, is because they need to be protected.
No, I see what you mean. So yeah, it must be some kind of evolutionary tactic.
Well, we are born to, like, I think big eyes and stuff like that is inherent. We are designed to believe that's cute, not attractive. Goddamn. to find that
you are incriminating yourself on this
well,
podcast today.
That was I meant attractive, but not in the way it would come across.
I took it in the way that you meant it.
Okay, good.
You made that word.
I meant an appealing characteristic. The problem is, again, because of my job, I talk so much. I have to listen to what I say to make sure I don't say something that could be misinterpreted. So as I'm saying stuff, sometimes I'm like, well, that's not the right way to phrase that. Gotta rephrase that one before I finish this sentence.
Yeah. Don't want any of those complaints coming through.
Yeah, but attractive is an appealing trait that humans find. Like, so that's why, like, our babies, we find big heads. So it's not like the baby looks like that, and we're genetically programmed to believe that's cute. Have you ever seen an ugly baby?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. What do you say?
Them.
You just go, oh.
In my opinion, because I'm not a baby person, I've seen more uglies than cutes.
It's again, I think the parents are genetically triggered to think their babies are cute. My wife, when my son was a baby, so still in like a pram, she was out, and then this other lady got on the same elevator, and she looked over and looked at because they always look at each other's babies, they're comparing. But then this mother that we didn't know, had no relationship with, just looks at her baby and goes, "You lose."
That's awful.
I know. And my wife was like horrified and happy because, like, she just admitted that our baby was cuter than her baby, but also it's like, don't say that.
Yeah, that's kind of scratching maybe like a motherly ego, but also the motherly instinct to protect the children is kind of shared. Should be, yeah, okay, you lose.
But Japanese society, when it comes to like body shaming and stuff, is just so blatant. It's terrifying.
I've noticed physical traits are kind of dealt with more practically, less sensitively than we do in the West. It's
just everything's a joke. If you're not, so like I've been losing my hair a little bit for maybe the last 10 years, pretty normal. But now it's basically the good bits are gone, so I basically shave it all the way down. But if I want to make a group of Japanese people laugh, I just say I'm losing my hair. Not even a joke. Like, there's no setup or anything. I just go, I'm losing my hair. They will start laughing. And I think that's the weirdest thing ever. I was like, that's like, I didn't even make a joke. I just said a fact. I'm losing my hair. And they just burst out laughing.
That's really funny.
It's messed up.
It is messed up. Because when you can't see the joke, you have to assume that they're just laughing at this misfortune that's befallen you.
Yes. Yeah.
Which isn't nice, is it?
it was my first or second year in Japan, so like 2002 maybe. And I had one of those, like, they were like 14-year-old girls. It was like 6 girls in this class together. and they
Okay.
just despised me. And I didn't
Really?
know, I hadn't done anything yet. Like this was literally day one. They're like, ew. And I was like, okay, I wanted, so I spent a lot of time trying to be friendly and nice. And it was a ringleader, one girl. And I went to the staff at the school and I was like, this girl, she seems to hate me. And they go, oh yeah, she doesn't like men. And I was like,
Oh.
what do I do with that? I can't fix that. But she really wanted to hurt my feelings, that is also quite funny. But she really wanted to hurt my feelings. So she goes up to the whiteboard. She goes, "You are M." And I was like, what? Like, I was like, is she saying I'm a masochist? But I didn't want to like open that door either. So she goes, "You are M." And I'm like, I don't know what that means. So she puts an M on the board, on the whiteboard. I'm like, okay. She goes, "You are M." And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So then she put eyes and a mouth under the M, and she was talking about my hairline.
Oh,
Because I had like a widow's peak. So she made an M shape for my hairline and said, "You are M." And she was just waiting for me to break down. And I thought it was very funny.
Why would you be doing that?
What?
Why would she want to break you down like that?
Because
if you hate somebody, just hate them.
No,
She's like attacking you.
yeah, high school girls are mean. Like they're just psychological warfare. Like they should study that because they will go for your weakness. At the time, I've never been particularly self-conscious about losing my hair, so it's not a big deal. I would rather not, but I don't care. Like it doesn't bother me. So it didn't hurt my feelings. I thought it was a very funny joke. So I started laughing really hard, and you could see that she felt defeated. She was like, "This was supposed to be the one that broke him." And I was like, "No, man, that was a good joke. Way to go."
I mean, if she tried it on someone else, it might have broken them, but yeah.
Yeah, on a different person, it actually would have been really hurtful because
Yeah.
So I made a proposal for a course, and it was a business course. And of course, I had to put some fake charts that we would maybe be studying in the class. So one of the charts I made was Peter's hair over time. And it started at 0, and then it went up, and then it hit this kind of peak, and then it started going down. And then there was like a predictive part where it's like, is it going to go down to 0, or is we going to find like a cure for baldness and it goes back up again? And it was just, it was just a very like throwaway joke, but it's like, here would be a chart with fake information that we would then discuss with the class. The guy who had to approve the project was losing his hair and was deeply offended by this joke and refused my proposal, is what I was told.
Oh my goodness.
So I realized you can't put jokes in anything like you want actually taken seriously in a business situation, because it drew attention to something he was self-conscious about, and he's like, "I hate this."
But that means that the self-conscious part of him is driving his thoughts. He can't kind of see. If it was me, I would imagine this chart with any other topic being displayed. The topic doesn't matter. It's what the proposal is, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I was just filling in a blank space. It could have just said chart, but I was like, I'll make a chart, and then, here's an opportunity for me to like maybe, because it wasn't his hair over time. It was my hair. Like I literally was making fun of myself.
Exactly.
But he just couldn't handle it.
Hit a nerve.
Yeah, well. Yeah. And again, so like I realized, like I started telling my students, like I will make jokes about losing my hair, but if you meet another Western person, it could be really sensitive, so don't do it. So I've realized the cultural aspect of teaching is sometimes like what is okay and not okay to make fun of is actually a really big deal, because fat shaming on TV is a really big thing in Japan. I mean, it is. That bugs me, and I'm not even like out of shape that much.
I mean, and it's also in daily life, you'll see businesses that kind of, to a Western standard, insensitively named, depending on what body type they're catering to, whether it's plus size or whether it's skinny sizes. Yeah. It's not, don't hold any punches over here, do they?
Asia is pretty hardcore when it comes to body shape. There was a trend on the internet where everyone was like crapping on cultural appropriation, and there was some little white girl, and she wanted to have like a kimono Japanese tea ceremony, and all these it was always Western people saying like that's horrible, and then all these Japanese people were like, no, we really like that she wanted to do this thing. And then there was this girl wearing a Chinese dress, and all these other people, all these white people in the West were like, it's cultural appropriation, she shouldn't be allowed to wear that dress. And they went to China and said like, what do you think? And they're all like, if she lost a couple pounds, it'd look great. So I was like, it was a whole different way of looking at the exact same thing, which was real cultural insight as to what was important to them. because they were like, in China, cultural appropriation is not a thing. It's a great dress. She needs to fit it.
Yeah, do the dress justice. Anyway, that's yeah. This is something I've seen on the internet. Cultural appropriation. I'm sure that to many communities or some communities it can be harmful, but a lot of the videos I've seen, reactionary videos, the culture that's supposedly been appropriated doesn't seem to have an issue with it.
No. That there was a couple of videos that came out. Yeah, there were a couple of videos that came out, and it was like purposefully like, I'm going to make a stereotypical. The one I saw was Mexican, so sombrero and fake mustache and stuff. And all these people were saying, all these people at a university were saying it's horrible, and they went to Mexico and they're like, yeah, it's funny, it's great. Like they loved it.
Yeah. And all the reactions. I think in a video like that, you can cherry pick the ones you're going to show, can't you?
Oh, they must be.
People that were reacting positively, yeah, they seemed pretty happy about it. About even if it was a bit of a cartoonish display of the culture, it was a display of, I don't know. They seemed happy that there was some kind of mingling of cultures, sharing them. Yeah.
Sorry, what was your topic that you
Have you ever
brought
worn a
up?
kimono? Oh yeah.
You brought up you have a topic like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, but then we went on to the horror movie.
Yeah.
You told me the plot twist. Yeah, I was going to say, have you ever seen those videos online that take all the music out of the original media, and then they switch it with something else, or they leave it blank, just to show you how either messed up or how different to the original atmosphere this video is?
Well,
for example, have you seen the movie Mrs. Doubtfire?
Yes.
Robin Williams. This is a movie, I'd say, just to harp on about something we talked about before. This would be, if somebody my age hadn't seen this movie, I'd be quite surprised. But Mrs. Doubtfire is a comedy movie about a guy who is, I think, divorced, separated from his wife, and isn't in a great position where he can see his kids a lot. So he gets help to transform himself using prosthetics and just general acting into an old lady, and he poses as the perfect nanny for his kids, and his ex-wife and his kids can't recognize him as their dad because he's such a good actor. He's good at pretending to be this lady, and it's built up as this heartwarming comedy. Oh, what's he like? Kind of movie, but taking all the music and all the comedy beats out of the trailer and replacing it with typical thriller-esque design and makeup. It looks really frightening how he's coercing people into kind of believing he's somebody he's not, and it's a really good kind of change of atmosphere. Have you ever seen anything like that?
I've seen stuff like that. I've seen stuff where they swap out the music for like a lighthearted movie for heavy music, and then but if you just, a lot of movies, especially comedy movies, if you just take the actual premise and like say it out loud. So Mrs. Doubtfire, we have a man who disguises himself to infiltrate his separated wife's home without her knowing, so he can spend time with the kids he's not allowed to see. Like, that's
horrible.
That's the premise of the film. That is a guy who should be arrested, should be put in, clearly shouldn't be around kids if he's willing to do this. Like that, no. This is all insane stuff. And I believe at the end of Mrs. Doubtfire, they get back together again. I don't remember. It was been too long.
That wouldn't happen in real life, though.
No, you would find out that this guy disguised himself and came into your house. You would have him arrested and like a restraining order immediately.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we should do that. Like, go away for a couple weeks, try to find some comedy movies and just like write the premise of the film, or write the premise of the film, see if you can guess what movie it is, and then decide, is it a horror movie? Is it like a thriller? Is it a comedy movie?
Yeah. Describe them as bare bones as possible.
Revenge of the Nerds was a movie I grew up with, which is a terrible. It would not have aged well. But the climax of the movie is, it's got like really bad racist jokes and stuff, and which I guess were funny in the 80s and 90s, but not. They wouldn't make it now. You wouldn't even be allowed to put it on the screen.
It's always changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the end of I think the first movie, this girl, the head cheerleader, has sex with what she thinks is her boyfriend, but he's wearing a Darth Vader mask, and it turns out to be the nerd. And it's okay because he's so good at sex.
No, that's awful.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
This is sexual assault. This is just straight up sexual assault.
It absolutely is.
And she's like, how are you so good? He's like, jocks only think about sports and nerds only think about having sex. And I was like, no, you just sexually assaulted that woman. Like, she should be terrified and horrified, and you should go to jail now.
Yes, absolutely.
But this is the climax of a comedy film in the 80s.
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, I can imagine aged, has it? Oh, crikey.
But yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire, the premise of that film, like if you came into a studio exec's office and they said like, oh, well, here's my elevator pitch. Man dresses up like a woman so that he can get into his ex-wife's house so he can spend more time with the kids he's not allowed to see. And they'd be like, oh yeah, thriller movie. And they like fight at the end. It's like, no, they get back together because it's a comedy.
Yeah, we're on the guy's side for the entire movie, yeah.
Yeah. We really want him to succeed at this.
There was a good YouTube video that analysed all the crimes that are committed in Mrs. Doubtfire by the character, and based on the laws in the time that this movie is set, he estimates what the consequences are, how much prison time has this guy accumulated through all the actions in the movie, and it's substantial.
Oh, I know, yeah.
He goes away for a long time.
Because every instance of him coming into the house is probably illegal. Because they're separated.
Yeah,
He's not supposed to be in that house. He's not supposed to be around those kids. That's a separate crime.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're
There's
stacking.
endangerment. There's all sorts.
You're stacking crimes. And it's, I guess, probably also fraud. Because he's pretending to be someone he isn't so he can get a job. Like, beyond just the, like, that's fraud. And he probably has said he's a nanny, so he's, like, falsified his background.
Yeah.
And there's so much.
There's scenes where there's some chaos at a restaurant, and I think that actually has lawsuits involved as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been too long since I've seen it, so I don't remember. But it would be pretty easy to go through and be like, yeah, he should be in prison for like the next decade. Because
it is fascinating. What?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any comedy movies I've seen recently. I haven't watched a lot of comedy lately, but most of them have like a lot of it's couple stuff, and so the couple stuff is always really shady because it's funny, because it's ludicrous, because it shouldn't happen, but it shouldn't happen probably because it's illegal.
Yeah, and we see these two characters on screen reacting kind of whimsically to what's happening. It kind of it lets us slide by all the problematic stuff pretty easily as we're watching, unless you're particularly astute to it. But rewatching stuff with a new eye, that's
with a critical mindset. Yeah, I haven't because when you watch the movie, you're not thinking about it, you're just like following the story. But
exactly,
if you went back and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna like critically see, because in action movies there's a lot of times where you're killing security guards and stuff who are essentially innocent. And I'm like,
absolutely.
When you're killing bad guys and gang members and stuff, okay, within the movie premise, it's fine because they're bad people just inherently. But I'm like, not all of them actually are bad. They're just in a tough situation. But
yeah, exactly.
Sometimes they're going into like a building, and I'm like, that security officer had a family and he didn't do anything. Yeah. He's been hired by an evil company. It's not his fault. Everyone's hired by an evil company. Like, I'm working for an evil company.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very, very true.
Everyone's working for an evil company. You can't get away from that part. So some guy comes in and like shoots me. Is that okay? Because I wanted to support my family?
It's actually not okay, but it's never important to explain this in the movie's plot, so it's not. But have you seen I forget which Austin Power movie it is. They address this exact point. Have you seen Austin Powers?
I've seen, yes.
Well, in this movie, whichever one it is, this stuff happens. Austin Powers, the international spy, goes in, saves a bunch of people, kills a bunch of henchmen, and it cuts away to a nice suburban house of a mother and a child just enjoying pancakes. The sun's shining through the window. She gets a call to say that her husband's been killed, and it's a very fourth wall breaking. They're both sobbing and saying, "Oh, he's been crushed by." What was the death? I think it was a steamroller death.
There was a steamroller death that is extended because it's moving really slowly. Yeah. That was the
really
joke.
Memorable scene.
Yeah, the joke that was that he could easily have moved out of the way, and so they make it last for about 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this guy's family are weeping over his death, saying, "Oh, no one ever thinks about the security guards' families," or I can't remember what she says, but it's the gist of what you're saying.
Yeah, well, the joke I saw that really brought it home for me was like you're playing any sort of shooter, and then he was like, I would like games to sort of overlap, and so like you play a shooter and you kill a bunch of people because that's what you do in a shooter, but then you're playing a driving game or racing game later, and in the audience you see the son of one of the men you killed.
What?
It doesn't make sense. It's just
Okay.
so okay. It's just a joke. He's like, so you're playing Call of Duty, and you kill a man.
Yeah.
And then the next game you play is, let's say, a driving game, a racing game, and in the audience is the son of the man you killed.
It's like, you suck.
Yeah, he's really angry at you. He hates. He's really anti whatever you're playing in that game. But I was like, actually, as a premise, that's really interesting that you could have like effects roll over into other games.
Is that possible? Could they do that?
If you owned both IPs, you could try to, and then if you could track people's memory cards, yes, you could actually do something like that. Because
I would love that to be a thing.
Metal Gear Solid would read your memory card and then say, so it was like an interrogation scene, and he was like, "Oh, you've played a lot of Final Fantasy." Like, and he's talking to you, the player, not you, the character in the game, because the game read your memory card to see what games you'd played the most time on. It couldn't give you any details, but it always keeps track of how much time, and so it would pick one of the games you've played the most, like maybe the top two, and the character would look around, and if he had the voice line for that, it'd be like, "Oh yeah, you've played a lot of Tekken."
Oh yeah, that's a really good idea. That'll creep me out if I heard that. I was going to say, what's a really random, like, embarrassing game it could it could mention? You've played a lot of Barbie's Wonderland.
But
what would be like
all the games have trophies and achievements and stuff now, and then so there was Near Automata. The main character had a short skirt, and if she climbed up ladders, players would try to get the camera under her skirt, but she would actually swipe the camera away. But if you did that X amount of times, you got a trophy for it, like, bad boy kind of thing. And then in the Yakuza games, there was one of the games where you could go to this thing where you called girls on the phone, and if you could get them excited enough, like, you would essentially masturbate. And then you got a trophy for that, and it was a really embarrassing trophy name. Like, it was one you kind of didn't want to get. And there's been a bunch of games, like Lollipop Chainsaw had the same thing where you could try to look up the main character's skirt and she would kick you away. But a game could look at the trophy list and go, "You've gotten this trophy, you dirty, dirty boy."
Yeah, they'd know exactly what you have to do to get that as well.
Because it is explicit as to what you had to do to get the trophy.
I do like these strange, very specific trophies. I do like reading about them. There's like the generic ones. Oh, you completed level 5 or whatever.
Yeah,
like
no one
milestone
cares.
trophies. But I do like the really odd. You either have to do this by accident or research how to do it.
Because I don't care about trophies, but I do read the trophy list, and I saw the Near Automata one for looking up her skirt, and I hadn't looked up her skirt yet, so I actually just wanted to see, like, what does she do? So she like she holds her skirt down so you can't see up it, or she'll like slap the camera, and the camera will like fly away and then come back. But then I was like, oh, if you do this 10 times, you get this trophy. I was like, well, I've done 2. Might as well finish that one off.
Well.
So I did. I got that trophy. I got the Yakuza trophy for essentially masturbating in a booth.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I mean, the Yakuza game, is it voice acted? Did they have to record that? They always
have these so they always have these like weird mini games. Like there was this one that happened in sort of old Japan, and I have a video of it that I can send you after, but it's you have to drink with a prostitute, but this is like a high class one because it's the Edo period. So it's like a geisha. So you drink with her, and if you get her drunk enough, you play rock, paper, scissors. And if you win rock, paper, scissors, she starts taking off her clothes. And then you have a mini game, which is your character flying around, but you're trying to avoid all the stressful stuff. And if you get far enough, you make her orgasm.
Oh, crikey.
It is one of the weirdest ways because you never see anything like there's sexy top down shot of down her décolletage kind of thing, but you don't see any actual sex. But it's all like this weird implied stuff, which made it way funnier.
Yeah. Crikey. Okay. It's a bit one-sided though, isn't it?
Well,
Did you
you're.
see her décolletage? I bet it is décolletage.
Oh, he gets his shirt off. You
Oh, okay.
as the character who's flying through the bullet hell of stressful things, which is also very funny.
Mm-mm.
He's just wearing the traditional Japanese like white sheet underwear, and he's really built.
Oh, I see.
Like the whole point of this character
Okay.
is he's really really built. So there's a little bit there for you. I mean, again, I think the people who
Can
make
I?
it are kind of heteronormative is the word,
Yeah, yeah.
but they still put in a little bit for maybe the ladies or other people playing the game.
Yeah, fair enough.
I always make a big deal when he takes off his shirt. I'm like, God damn. Because they rip off his shirt and show his tattoo every game. Every
Yeah.
big fight, every boss fight, he takes off his shirt. And it's awesome.
Okay. It's like intimidation.
It's funny because he's wearing a button down shirt with a collar, but he like pulls it from the side and just rips the whole thing off like it's a tearaway.
Maybe he's rigged it himself so he can have that dramatic
It's
moment.
almost a joke in the game because there was one guy wearing like a shirt, tie, and jacket, and he pulled it off in one go to take off. So he's just wearing topless.
That's funny.
But there's nothing better than that. Nothing better than
It's kind
sweaty men fighting.
I don't know how ironically you're saying that,
No,
but I do agree.
I actually am on in both parts as a joke and seriously. I am 100% on board.
Excellent. Well, we can agree on that.
I can appreciate the male form, and I also think
Yeah.
it's very funny that I think it's because in my life when I was young I was trying to be manly, and then I kind of like hit the
Yeah.
Rubicon where I've gone so far into the manliness that it's actually funny. Like I do manly men things, and I know how stupid it is that I'm doing this, but I'm still doing it. Like I'll do that.
Yeah. Bit of self-awareness.
Yeah, I know how dumb I am, but I'm still doing it because it's fun.
This conversation about the Yakuza game, it's reminded me of a scene, a level from God of War, which I never played, but I know that there's a sex kind of
I have
mini
played.
game.
Yes, I've played all the God of Wars. You're talking about the first game where
Is it
you.
Aphrodite?
I think there's a series. There's maybe it happens 3 times in the game. Maybe Aphrodite might be the last one, but
Okay.
it's you do just bang some chicks. I don't remember if they're gods or not, but the mini game is essentially, if I remember correctly, it's like rolling the joystick, and I think that's supposed to be like simulating motion, and then every now and then pressing an X, which
Yeah.
might be like a power move.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Because I remember there was some kind of button control, whether it's a rhythm based thing or what. I don't know what it would.
If
what
it was
was,
rhythm
but
based, I would not be good at it. I'm terrible at rhythm based games.
just banging away at the X button.
Well, unfortunately is what it would happen. It's too bad. That is my failure as a man is my complete lack of rhythm.
Well, rhythm maybe is different for everybody. Maybe some people have different songs, so
Yep.
not every rhythm matches.
I just got to find
Yeah.
someone who enjoys my song, my out of tune song.
Exactly, yeah. There's yeah. And
I
the
mean,
less I say, the better.
well, mumble rap got popular, and I didn't understand it at all. Not in again both senses, but but I was like, this doesn't sound good. Why do people like this? But people liked it. So yeah, there is someone out there who would think I'm good at my song.
I've never. Wait, did you say mumble rap?
Mumble rap. It was
What is that?
5 years ago. It was really big. It was the guys were like, and you couldn't understand any of the words they were saying.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know if
Okay.
they called it mumble rap. I know Snoop Dogg was really ripping on mumble rappers. He's like, I can't understand what they're saying, and it's not original, and they got no skill. And I
Okay.
would be more of a Snoop Dogg generation, so I want to be able to hear the words you're saying and the complications and stuff, so that it's actually impressive to me. If you're just like, I'm gonna chunk my beef, but that's not
Yeah.
skillful.
I suppose, yeah, maybe not as skillful as it could be. That's yeah. I mean, I could probably do a bit of mumble rap.
No, I think that might be the
Like
thing
my
is
daily life.
everyone could do mumble rap if you really,
Yeah.
and that's why again I didn't enjoy it, but it went away pretty quick. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did, but it went away pretty fast.
Well, maybe that kind of comment from Snoop Dogg and maybe other people was quite damning. Maybe it shortened the lifespan of it all.
I actually think it would have.
If someone big kind of discounts something, a lot of people listen and react, don't they?
Mumble rap is a subgenre of hip hop that emerged in the mid to late 2010s via SoundCloud, characterized by unclear enunciation, heavy use of autotune, and an emphasis on melody, mood, and tone over complex lyricism. The genre has faced significant criticism from established rappers such as Eminem, J. Cole, and Logic, who have argued that it lacks the lyrical depth of traditional hip hop. This is I've gone into my announcer voice for you.
I can hear that, yeah. Can you mumble rap this explanation, please?
Prominent artists frequently identified with this style include Future, Young Thug, Migos, Lil Uzi Vert, Playboy, Cardi, Travis Scott, Lil Pump, Extension.
It's a bit clear.
Yeah, it's too clear.
Too clear.
Because I actually want you to hear what I'm saying.
Hear.
So it would have to be like, okay, so I'll do the sentence and then I'll mumble rap it. So conversely, defenders compare the style to the sonic simplicity of early punk or jazz scatting, viewing it as a natural progression in the genre's evolution rather than a decline in quality. Conversely, defenders compare to the style of the sonic simplicity of early punk.
That's a bit better.
That's the best I could do. Yeah. But if you know what I'm saying, and then you can almost hear the words, but you have to know what I'm saying for.
But that's not the case in most. When you're a listener, listen to this.
No, I think the idea is
you're not going to read the lyrics and then listen to it.
I think the idea would be it's not about what he's saying; it's the mood of this, like the sound. So it's a sad song, it's a happy song, it's just vibes, and so just the vibes for a lot of people ended up. It's a generational thing. If you grew up with it, you would think it was awesome because it was your music. But anyone younger or older than you might think it's shit.
Maybe, but still, if it's just about vibes, why have a voice at all? Just use instrumentals.
Yeah, no, I think that would be better. Like, don't use words.
Yeah.
All right, I think
mumble rap.
Yeah, mumble rap. I mean, it's pretty shit.
Do you subscribe to that idea of like, if you're not from that generation, you think that generation stuff is a crap?
I think
because I like 80s stuff.
No, I think what happens is there's music that is good and that will last longer. So like, again, you just said you like some stuff from the 80s, but I bet I could pull, because I grew up in the 80s, I bet I could pull a lot of songs that I probably know all the words to and hate, and you would think it was terrible. But there's a group that grew up with it. I have this idea that there is always the song of the summer for a group that's 16 to 17 years old. And that's their song. And if you actually look, there's a song that's produced every single year, and it's that summer song, and it's for that very small group of people. And they will always have it in their heart because it's their song. And so this is an expansion of that. If you're in your teens, you don't want the music that came before, and you want your music that is different. And it doesn't matter if it's good, it's just different so that you're not listening to the same music as the people who came before you. And so some of it survives, some of it doesn't. But mumble rap has no future. Because,
unless we keep it alive.
Well, but if you're thinking about because the 80s songs you're referring to, like there's like the Depeche Mode synth revolution, there's like Duran Duran pop music. Those genres became relatively timeless and people updated them, but the fundamentals were still there. Mumble rap didn't do that. But I bet there's glam metal is an 80s thing that went away. And so it's like all those heavy metal bands that were not quite heavy metal that still dressed with like really tight leather and like giant hair, like the Motley Crue and stuff. A lot of that went away. Like Motley Crue lasted longer than the other ones because they have a couple of good songs, but like Poison, no one who isn't my age would know who Poison is.
I think I've heard of Poison, but I couldn't tell you any songs.
Yeah, because they were shit.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the thing, like the stuff from each age that goes away, because grunge in the early 90s, that first group was good. They had like 4 or 5 bands that were good, and then a whole bunch that came after and kind of like generalized it or made it more pop music. They went away. They didn't last.
Okay.
So I think you could find that for every generation. But there's a generation that wants like their music, and it's just got to be different.
They want something that speaks to their experience, don't they?
Yeah, because I was what would I have been? I listened to a lot of ska when I was in my teens.
Yeah.
Ska is pretty awful sometimes.
But I think ska, I've only recently started listening to a little bit, but to me it sounds quite distinct to a lot of other genres, and I can't always I can't always pick out what makes this genre special, what makes that genre special. Sometimes it sounds the same to me. So I do like ska.
Well, I think now if you listen to ska, it would be the good ones. So again, there was all these ska bands that came out at the same time, and most of them were pretty trash that you never would have heard of again.
The ones that stood the test of time.
Yeah. And that's the problem. Like literature suffers from the same thing. Oh, you go back to a certain era. We only remember, like, let's say 10 books from the 1940s or the 1930s. But how many books were produced at that time were just absolute trash?
Oh, yeah.
And we're completely forgotten. It's the same with music. I think it's the same with any art form. There's the pop version of it that goes away, and then there's like the classics that actually stay. So we end up talking about the classics, but we forget the insane volume of shit that came out at the same time.
It's the same rule counts for humans as well.
Oh yeah, I think this is true for everything, but like for art and music and stuff, like there's some stuff that stays, but that's this incredibly small minority. And then there's all this other stuff that just came out that's just bullshit that no one ever is gonna. Yeah, it was forgotten the moment it was produced. So buy my book. It's called Montana El Diablo. It's available on Amazon.
It's not one of the trash ones.
It's not going to last beyond my lifetime, but it is funny. Because again, I try to make a lot of stuff that's funny, and I don't think funny has long historical value. So I wouldn't expect my legacy to be the books that I wrote.
Okay.
But Montana El Diablo, The Infinite Adventure, is available on Amazon.com.
Enter the mind of the academy. Shock my big chest, where the best is a philosophy. Drinking at lunch brings verbal skills like a sucker punch. Welcome to CMcB. 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 CMcB.